was Vladimir Komarov, who, and it was the image that I showed you, Tim, where he was burnt up on re-entry. But this cosmonaut, recognized, engineer, whatever, had a very good background, recognized that the Suez capsule that he was going to be re-entering in 1967 was going to be inadequate. It was going to fall apart. It wasn't going to be able to work. And so he was refusing to go up into space. And Russian authorities, Soviet Union authorities, essentially said that if you're not going to go, then we're going to force this guy's best friend at the time to go up. He was also an astronaut. It wasn't like they just picked his best friend off the street and were like, you're going up. But he was also an astronaut, and feeling for his friend, Vladimir decided to take the mission on his own anyway. And then as he was descending, the parachute did indeed fail. He started burning up, and his last words were, "Heat is rising in the capsule," and then he kept repeating, "You killed me, you killed me, you killed me." Now, I'll show the image really quick. I showed it to Tim, but just for our viewers on YouTube, TikTok, whatever it might be, this is actually what the astronaut looked like when he re-entered. Very much a brutal image, and very, so right here is his body when it came in re-entry. It's basically burnt to a crisp. Now, the reason that he was able to have an open funeral or whatever, where you're able to view the body, is he was able to put that into a clause beforehand. And it was one of those things where the Russian authorities weren't even really able to disallow it. So, and the reason he said he wanted an open funeral is because he wanted everyone to see the mistakes that the Russian authorities had made, which is pretty brutal. But this was one of the ones that the Russian authorities did try very hard to cover up. However, they couldn't, for a number of different reasons. And like we said, this is a brutal, brutal way of dying. And this was in 1967. So this was over 6 years after the recording that we said. They still had not perfected their re-entry program. They still were having constant different rocket failures, whatever it might be. And like I said, this is 6 years later. So one can only imagine, in 1961, how, like we said, this recording with the woman astronaut, all of it kind of co-aligns. But then simply when something falls apart, doesn't work, whatever it might be, they neglect it or make an excuse or think of some other reason that ship was up there and it burned on re-entry, but there was no humans on board. So the Judica brothers actually had other proof recordings that weren't necessarily direct voices, but instead came via SOS signals from... why can I not think of the code thing right now? Morse code.
Morse. Yeah.
And it was actually found in 1959, which is the first one that came into their sites. And it was essentially just an SOS code, Morse code. And one of the things that they noted was that the code was slowly fading away, which essentially whatever transmission they were getting from space, it was moving away from Earth. And it was not, able to come back, whatever it might be. Obviously, this, once again, coincided with a satellite launch that happened in that year, in terms of when the recording timeline was, and Russian reporting lost the satellite into deep space. However, they said that there was no human on board. But as we discussed before this, Tim, I don't think they had the AI technology or anything like that to be able to be sending Morse code signals, and certainly no animal is going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
I seen a lot of shit, damn it, almost made me vomit. We sent a Addy to the shoulder, he was already coming. Before he go in type of tweet, we'll be already dumping. He seen a red dot on his body, I did dipping and running. See, I can spend a better day and make it back on the money. But I got problems in my life that go deeper than money. And all I ask for in exchange is for you to be